Hey, what's going on YouTube? This is a new podcast, right? And this podcast is called the Deep Perspective Podcast. And this podcast is it's going to be short and sweet, but I want to start discussions. I want to start getting insight, and I want to start giving insight just on everyday questions that people might think about throughout the day or wonder about. And so, Deep Perspective Podcast is where I'll take one question every time I do an episode, and we'll kind of dive into it. And I'll start out with just kind of giving my response and my opinion on it or my thoughts. And eventually, I want to get to the point where you guys can jump in the comments and debate with me, or if you have questions that you think we should bring up as a topic on episodes. But this is something I've been wanting to do. I think that it'll help a lot of people as well as myself. So this is episode 1, Deep Perspective. And I'm your boy JB. So let's get into it. First, episode 1, the first question I have is would you rather live 120 years that are comfortable but boring, or live half as long but have an exciting adventure-packed life? This was pretty simple for me, but at the same time it wasn't, because I felt like I've grown as a person. In the past, I would have definitely said I'd rather live longer, because I was, always afraid to die growing up, and then just seeing, different people in life pass away, and just the thoughts of, oh, what happens and what's going on. And as you get older, I'm 26 now, so as I've gotten older, I start to realize that it's not how long you live. It's never how long you live. It's the moments within the life that you're living, and that's what I'm starting to appreciate more now. As I look back, I've had a lot of moments in my life that have made me extremely happy, extremely sad, just all different types of emotions, but I never thought about appreciating those moments. I just kind of took it as, oh, it happened. What's next? Life seems so much faster as a teenager and early 20s, growing up. Life just kind of, that's why I think like people say that, like, oh, like everything was so fast, like you blink and you're already like 20 years down the line. I think things seem so much faster because we don't live in the moment. And that was something that I had to change with my mindset. It's because I was so focused on like just, oh, I don't want to, I want to live a long, long life. I never talked about what type of life I wanted to have. I never talked about goals that I wanted to achieve for myself. I just kind of was like, take the precautions and be safe and do what you need to do to make sure you're not one of the ones that unfortunately pass away too soon. So, and I know there's a lot of things that are unavoidable, but that was just my mindset. So now that I'm 26 and I got to thinking a few years ago, like I started changing my mindset. I was like, life is short anyways. So even if it's 60 or if it's 120 years, that's really not a long time. If you look at the grand scheme of life, it's really not a long time, to be honest. So, and you're only in your prime years for what, maybe 20 years of that 60 or 120, 20, 30 years where you're just in your prime as a person, I think. So I started looking at the moments in life, and I started to learn that, good or bad or in between, I needed to start to appreciate those moments more. And I needed to start doing more things outside of, like, get outside of my bubble and start experiencing life, because I think that's what life is about. I think life is about experiencing things over longevity. So I don't want to live 120 years if it's going to be boring. I would rather live the 60 and have it be exciting and adventurous, because I want to appreciate every moment. So on my deathbed, there's no regrets. And I think that with 120 years of life, I think that there'll be regrets if it's boring and mundane, and you're not, there was things that you wanted to do, but you played it safe your whole life. And that's my biggest fear over anything more than death, is regret. So that was something that I had to change within myself. Now, for people who would say, let's look at it from the other side, people who would say 120 years, boring, but yet 120 years, one of the great things about that is that you get to witness things. I think that's the biggest thing, is you might not do things, but you get to witness things. You get to witness, grandchildren growing up and great grandchildren growing up, technology changing, the world changing. You get to see those different things, and you get to see how they affect your life. So I can understand that part of it. But if I'm just living just to be alive, then I wouldn't want to live. I'd rather live a full life, regardless of how long it is. I got to do things that I never thought I'd be able to do, because I think that's what life is about. Life isn't about longevity. It's about experiencing different things. It's about, gaining knowledge. It's about increasing your abilities physically and mentally. It's about improving yourself, making mistakes and learning from them. So that's kind of where I'm at now in my life, is that I want to improve on myself. I want to take mistakes that I've done in the past. I want to take insecurities. I want to take things about myself that were weaknesses and turn them into strengths. So that's kind of why I started this podcast as well. It's because I have questions that, I always wanted to just bring up different topics and just kind of discuss them. Like I said, not for a long time, just start the discussion. And I think this will help a lot of people. And it's definitely, I feel like it's going to help me. So I would definitely choose the 60 years. Anyone who's listening to this, if you put in the comments or something, give me your perspective on it. Let me know how you guys feel about what you would do. But that's just where I'm coming from. Life is about moments to me. And I wouldn't take those moments and sacrifice them for anything else, for longevity, for immortality. It's not about that, and I think once people start to realize what life is truly about, when you really start to live and you start to just let go and just not be afraid, then I think you realize how long your life really is. Because when it's exciting and it's fun, you're in the moment, it seems like a lifetime. So you never want to get out of those moments. You always want to experience different moments. So that's all I have for you guys today. That's episode 1. Yeah. Would you rather live 120 years, longevity and boring, or 60 years of adventure and excitement? 120 versus 60. I'm your boy JB. This is the Deep Perspective Podcast, episode number 1. Just bringing up conversation. And I appreciate anybody that's going to listen to this. I will continue, hopefully, God willing, to continue this podcast past episode 1. And just thank you. Comment, like, subscribe. Right now, I think the only platform I'm going to use is YouTube. So just kind of getting started, guys. And like I said, episode 1, Deep Perspective Podcast, your boy JB. And have a great day. I'm out.